Today we're going to look at the best items that you can get as a protection warrior in Tier 7 of Wrath of the Lich King Classic. The options that we're going to have selected is all pre-raid items, all Nax items, items from VOA, items from Obsidian Sanctum, which is obviously Sarfarian, and Malagos. We're going to be looking at all 10-man loot and 25-man loot, and obviously if there's any decent crafted items that you can throw in there as well. This will now have populated the absolute best items that you can use in each slot as a protection warrior. The primary option will be your absolute BIS. All of these have been run through raw and obviously filtering out items that are just not obtainable in Tier 7. They also take a good balance of survival, mitigation and threat to form the absolute best setup in Tier 7 that you can use. Saying that though, if you weren't lucky enough to get your head, for example, which is the Crown of the Lost Protector, which comes from Kel'Thuzad in 25-man Nax, using any of the optional items to tide you over or even take you into the following tier will be absolutely fine. If you're wondering about this tool, it will be available to a wider audience very, very soon. The last specs are just being put in now, but it is almost 100% complete for Tier 7. Expect a post in the next day or so for YouTube members to beta test this for us, basically, because we're going to just put it out to you guys, give you a special link, which you won't be able to share with anyone else. It'll only work for you. But I'm going to put a community post out for, as I say, members of the channel, just to help us out to test this. And if you find any problems, you can post it in the members-only channel on Discord. Thanks in advance. So as already mentioned, your BIS will be your Tier 7.5, which is the 25-man tier token that comes from Kel'Thuzad, giving you defense, hit, block value, and obviously you're getting your meta socket, which is very important. Some alternatives to this can come from Nax 10, like Thane's Tainted Great Helm, which comes from the Four Horsemen, which is not actually a million miles away from your Tier 7.5 anyway. Of course, getting the 10-man version of your tier is an alternative. And then there's a couple of crafted items, one which comes from blacksmithing, giving you defense, good amount of stamina, good amount of strength, and again, you're getting your meta socket there. Or if you was engineering, you could get your tanking goggles made. When it comes to the neck, there's two choices which are both very close because they're both 226 eye level, which is the highest eye level of item that you can get in Tier 7. The best one is a good mix between threat and mitigation because you're getting armor, a good amount of stamina, and you're getting expertise. Now, obviously, the expertise is going to increase your threat. This comes from Kel'Thuzad on 25-man. An alternative can be Nexus War Champion Beads, which comes from Sapphiron. Now, this is Nax 25. You kill Sapphiron, only one person in the raid can get the item that starts a quest to go and kill Malagos. When you kill Malagos, you'll hand it in, and you'll be able to get this neck. This is nice. It hasn't got the armor, but you've got an extra socket in it with a 6 stamina socket bonus, and it's pure mitigation, defense, parry, shield block. Really comes down to personal preference here. Do you want the threat and getting that extra expertise, or do you want to go all-out mitigation, getting defense, parry, and shield block? A couple of alternatives would be the Amulet of Autopsy, which comes from 10-man Nax from Hygen the Unclean, giving strength, stamina, defense, and dodge, or one that you could actually buy from the auction house because it's made from dual crafting and it's only BOE, just giving straight out defense, but you also get that red socket. For your shoulders, your Tier 7.5 are going to be the best that you can get, which give you defense, dodge, and shield block, as well as an extra socket. Second best will just be your Tier 7, so that's the 10-man version of your Tier 7 shoulders, which are exactly the same in the stats that they give you, but obviously just slightly less for each. There's some nice BOEs that are just a world drop, so you could buy these from the auction house if you're lucky enough, giving expertise and defense, so you're getting a nice little bit of mitigation here as well as threat. I'd expect these to be quite expensive for a little while though, because they're actually really nice tanking shoulders early on. There's also a set of pre-raid shoulders that are worth including just because they're itemized so well. These just come from a heroic dungeon, but they give you strength, stamina, defense, and parry. The best cloak that you can get that is actually part of your pre-raid setup because it comes from just 25 Emblems of Valor, which of course you'll get Emblems of Valor just from doing your daily heroic quest each day. But it's very nice with strength, stamina, defense, dodge, and some hit, so you're getting some threat there as well. Gale-proof cloak from Sarfarian in 10-man is also very nice because you get that socket, but it's got defense, dodge, and expertise. So again, a nice balance between mitigation and threat. And then from 25-man Mayexna, which is the final boss in the Spider Quarter in Nax 25, you can get one with a hell of a lot of armor, being 1162 armor, strength, stamina, defense, and dodge. So just a flat-out high mitigation piece. For the chest plate, this would be really classed as pre-raid, because actually you can get this from Archivon in Vault of Archivon. So you'll be able to pug this, and most people will be 18-man in it doing what people class as a class run, which is where you've just got basically one of each spec, and whoever it drops for is guaranteed to get it, rather than having to roll against people. But of course, you can get the tier chest also from Nax. But this ultimately is going to be your BIS, and that comes from Nax 25 or Archivon, as already said. Sarfarian 25 drops a nice chest with strength, stamina, a couple of sockets, defense, parry, and dodge. Stats are very similar to your tier set, but of course the tier 7 set bonuses, which is your 2 set increases the damage of your shield slam, which is just straight out threat, and your 4 set increases the duration of your shield wall by 3 seconds, which is just straight out survivability. You're going to want both of these set bonuses. But just underneath the Sarfarian one, you've got your tier 7 normal chest, which is obviously very nice, just not quite as good as the 25-man version. And for a nice pre-raid blue, which will obviously be included in the pre-raid BIS list that we'll get to very soon, the Ziggurat imprinted chest guard from Drakfaron Keep just increases your defense by 49 and your parry by 56, but you absolutely could keep hold of this chest until you get your tier 7 or even Dragonstorm. Quite a lot of options for wrists here, but the one that sims the best is Braces of the Unholy Knight, which comes from Instructor Resuvius, which is the first boss in the military quarter in Nax 25, giving you a socket, as well as strength and stamina, of course, with a defense socket bonus as well, and defense, dodge, and parry. You can get 2 13 braces as well with defense, parry, and hit rating just from Emblems of Valor. These cost 60 Emblems of Valor, but expect to see a lot of people on their alts selling these because they are BOE. So if they're not bothered about getting ludicrous amounts of gear on their alts, they'll get their 60 emblems and then they'll be selling these in trade chat, just selling whatever pair of braces you want. So you could actually pick these up for a bit of gold. A couple of alternatives would be Nax 10, you can get minion braces, and there's also an option from Old Kingdom Heroic. The final boss drops some 200 eye level tanking braces with defense and parry on. And then for the gloves, you're obviously going to want your 25-man tier gloves, which come from Archivon again, so you can get lucky and just get them in Vault of Archivon, or you can get the tokens from Nax 25. Another option is actually getting the 10-man tier gloves, which are a lot easier to obtain. Again, they do come from Archivon in Vault of Archivon, or from Nax 10 itself, but you can actually buy the token itself from Emblems of Heroism. So there's lots of options to be able to get the tier 7 gloves. Another option, which is actually pre-raid, but it's also just from a reputation at Exalted being Kirintor, you can get some 200 eye level gloves with defense and dodge on. Ultimately, you're going to want at least one version of your tier gloves, though, preferably 25-man. From Nax 25, you can get your best belt, which drops from Mayexna, again being the last boss in the Spider Quarter, or the Arachnid Quarter, whatever you want to call it, with a socket with defense rating as a bonus. Obviously, you'd put an extra socket in this as well from a blacksmith, and it gives you defense, parry, and hit rating. There's quite a few options for decent belts, so some alternatives would be Waistguard of the Tutor from Nax 10. This is from Instructor Resuvius. Your Emblem of Heroism belt with defense, dodge, and parry. Or even from a 5-man heroic from Asjol Nerub, the final boss there, drops the Ancient Aligned Girdle with defense and dodge. Overall, just a lot of places you can get belts from. For your legs, again, you're going to want the 25-man tier. These do come from Archivon the Stonewatcher, but again, there's more ways than one to be able to obtain these. With Emblems of Valor, which is obviously the ones that you're going to get from doing your daily each day, for 75 of them, you can get the tier token for the legs, or you can get the tier token for the legs from Nax as well. But you've got 3 ways of being able to obtain these. The second best legs will be from Malagos. So Alex Straza's gift is actually the chest that you open at the end when you kill Malagos 25-man, giving defense, expertise, and parry, a hell of a lot of stamina and strength. Now, these are strong again because they're both heavy on mitigation and because you're getting that expertise, they're great for threat. And your final alternative really is just getting the 10-man version of the tier legs. Again, you can get these from VOA 10-man or from Nax 10. You can't buy these ones with emblems. For the boots, Thaddeus drops some nice expertise, dodge, and defense boots. So this is Thaddeus 25-man. Second best would be from Noth the Plaguebringer in Nax 10, which gives you defense, parry, and dodge. And again, with Emblems of Valor, you can get a pair of 213 boots with defense, dodge, and parry. Now, really, the 213 boots are probably going to sim slightly better than the 10-man, but you're going to have a lot of things to buy with your Emblems of Valor that I would focus on. If you can't get the Thaddeus 25-man boots, being Sabatons of Endurance, go for the Plague Impervious boots and you'll be absolutely fine. For the rings, you're going to want Sandworm Band, which comes from Instructor Resuvius in Nax 25. And for your second ring, you're going to want Signet of the Impregnable Fortress. Both of these together are the strongest combinations of rings you're going to get, but there are some alternatives. So from Prophet, which is the Drakfaron Keep final boss on Heroic, you can get Keystone Great Ring, which is a great ring, but it's only 200 eye level. From Jewel Crafting, you could get them to craft your Titanium Earthguard ring, which gives you stamina, strength, defense, dodge, and a socket with 4 defense rating as the bonus. Or you could get Gatekeeper, which is from Sapphiron 25, which is very nice, dodge and hit. You would probably be prioritizing Gatekeeper as an alternative to either Signet of the Impregnable Fortress or Sandworm Band. Trinkets may seem like a strange one because we just want 2 blue trinkets. The first one, if you're dual crafting, you're going to want to use the Monarch Crab. It's got 63 stamina on, and you can chuck another couple of stamina gems in it, and it's got a nice 300 dodge rating cooldown for 10 seconds, and it's only on a 1 minute cooldown. The second one is actually pre-raid, but you will be raiding with it in Tier 7 and through most of Tier 8 for sure. Essence of Gossamer. This comes from Azjol-Nerub, the first boss in Azjol-Nerub Heroic, and it's, Essence of Gossamer, given 111 stamina. When struck in combat, it's got a chance of shielding you in a protective barrier, which will reduce damage from each attack by 140. This is an absolute beast for boosting with as well, which if you haven't seen already, check the Paladin boosting video. I know this is a warrior video, but prop Paladins, obviously, they're still going to be amazing at boosting, and this trinket is actually what makes them amazing at boosting. The alternatives are things like Defender's Code, which is just flat-out mitigation with 850 armor on and a use, giving you 455 dodge on a 2-minute cooldown. Valor Medal of the First War, which is from Emblems of Heroism. This is pretty much the first epic trinket you'll see most people buying. Not specifically this trinket, but I mean your Emblem of Heroism trinkets in general. If Brewfest is going on, you can also get the same as the Valor Medal of the First War, but it comes from Corran Diabrew. There's also a defense trinket that I left out that comes from Nax 10, but if you're using most of this gear, you won't need a flat-out, defense trinket. So just in case you wondered why that's been left off the list, that's why. For your weapon, last laugh is going to be your Absolute BIS, which comes from KT25, being 226 eye level, having a very, very good amount of DPS on, and obviously a nice quick speed. Defense, hit, and parry. Gothic the Harvester drops Slayer of the Lifeless. This is from 10-man. Again, nice quick speed, good amount of defense, hit, and dodge. And what you'll see most tanks actually trying to get early on, particularly in the first week or two, is from Utgard Pinnacle Heroic. The final boss drops Red Sword of Courage with defense and hit. Good amount of strength and stamina. Again, a very good speed. From KT25, Wall of Terror is absolutely going to be your BIS in Tier 7 with strength, stamina, defense, dodge, and a really good amount of shield block rating. Basically, for most classes, your weapons, your shields, your wands, whatever, normally the BIS ones are from KT25 because it's just got the higher item level. Couple of alternatives, though. Barricade of Eternity is quite nice from EOE 10, so that's from Malagos. Defense, Expertise, and Parry. Again, because it's from Malagos, it's 213 eye level, so falls nicely in between pre-raid and your Absolute BIS. But for a pre-raid option with Emblems of Heroism, you can buy this from the vendor, being a discarded plate panel, increasing your defense, dodge, and hit rating. Guns are obviously fairly boring, but the best one is going to be the Crafted Gun from Engineering, being the armor-plated combat shotgun, giving 42 stamina, a nice blue socket to put even more stamina in, with a 6 stamina bonus and having hit and defense. Envoy of Mortality, which is the weapon that comes from Kel'Thuzad, could be an option. Going to give you more threat than survivability. That's why armor-plated shotgun is number 1, because you're going to just get a lot more stamina from it, and you're going to get some hit, and probably well-needed defense rating as well. Because remember, we're not using defense trinkets. And then finally from KT10, basically the 10-man version of Envoy of Mortality is an Arubian Conqueror, which gives 31 agility, 30 stamina, crit, and attack power. Again, this is going to be great for threat. It's 213 eye level. But ultimately, the 200 eye level engineering gun, which doesn't require engineering to use, is going to be your best option. And that's it, guys. That's the Prop Warrior. I'm literally going to press stop recording and then start on the Fury and Arms Warrior. Well, Arms, Fury will come a little bit later, because the only thing with Fury that's going to be different is we're going to put 2 of the same weapon in. Because ultimately, even if you haven't seen, if it isn't out already, the test in the pre-patch shows that Arms Warrior is probably going to do more damage than Fury, even from 70 to 80, and at level 80, we already know, Arms is superior to Fury until you start getting big amounts of armor pen and huge weapons. So, but anyway, if you liked it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all the other BIS lists and all the other good videos that are going out, or hopefully you think they're good anyway. And if you join the channel as a member over the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll get a link to be able to use this tool. Anyway, you don't need to. The tool will be available to everyone eventually, but we just need people testing it and trying to break it. So best people to do that with are the people that are loyal to the channel and supporting the channel as members. So peace out. Roll the outro. Lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes. Everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos, because you get a nice icon next to your name. And you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.